Good afternoon, morning, and evening. I would like to thank the Society for Range Management for giving me the opportunity to present the Atlas of Rangelands. My name is Bora Masumbuko. I'm a Senior Program Officer in the Forest and Grassland team at the International Union for Conservation of Nature. I'm an ecologist and agronomist by training, and I've been working with IUCN for 12 years on various aspects, including protected areas, ecosystem-based disaster risk reduction, and sustainable land management. And over the past 2 years, 3 years now, I've been working on our rangeland engagements, especially how we can overcome the challenges to scaling up sustainable rangeland management. So I'm going to present the Global Rangelands Atlas that was developed last year, thanks to our collaborative efforts between several institutions, including ILRI, the International Land Coalition, IYRP, IUCN, FAO, WWF. And this atlas was launched in May 2021 during a virtual event. And in this presentation, I will explain the reasons for developing this atlas, its production, and also what the atlas contains. So the reasons why partners decided to develop this atlas are to provide a starting point to address data gaps in rangelands. We know that there are data gaps in rangelands, especially if we compare to other ecosystems such as forests, for instance. And this atlas, together with other actions, will provide the basis to fill in these gaps. To document and raise awareness of the importance, the economic importance of rangelands, as well as the environment and social values, and considering the fact that these values are often underestimated, to provide a big picture of changes taking place in rangelands and where various values and risks are present. It's good to highlight these changes because rangelands continue to experience high levels of degradation, and highlighting the changes will even raise further awareness on the risks that rangelands will face in the future if we continue to pay little attention to them. To contribute to increase concerted action for rangeland restoration between various stakeholders, including governments, scientists, private investors, and rangeland users that include pastoralists. And indeed, rangelands are home to livestock keeping people that are known as pastoralists, even though they're often referred to as herders or shepherds or ranchers, depending on the countries. And they play a crucial role in maintaining rangeland ecosystems. Another reason includes to contribute to strengthen global collaboration, to protect, restore, and increase investments and commitment to rangeland restoration, and taking into consideration the current global agenda, such as the United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, which provides an opportunity to draw attention to rangelands, the International Year for Rangelands and Pastoralists, the WWF Global Grassland and Savanna Dialogue Platform, the IUCN resolution on protecting and restoring endangered grassland and savanna ecosystem. And finally, another reason to develop this atlas is we hope that this atlas will also contribute to building this global momentum. So now the production of the atlas, the map of rangelands was produced based on WWF terrestrial ecoregions, each of which is classified into one of of 14 biomes. And the spatial mapping for the atlas focused on 7 of the 14 biomes. These 7 biomes include different types, drylands, grasslands, savannas, shrublands and forests, tundra, Mediterranean forest. So all these areas are important for agro-silvopastoral systems. So this mapping resulted in the production of a base map. And according to this mapping, rangeland covering 54% of all terrestrial land on Earth. This is about 79.5 million square kilometers. Then the base map was combined with other global data sets. The atlas draws on data sets that already exist. So we have to note here that we did not collect new data. We just combined the rangeland data set with other data sets that we could have access to. So for example, the data sets on key biodiversity areas. So we've combined it with rangeland data sets and produced a map of key biodiversity areas in rangelands. This is a map of rangelands, and this is the map that shows that 54% of land are rangelands. And it also provides some information on the different ecosystems of rangelands, the one that I mentioned earlier, grasslands, shrublands, savannas, open woodlands, deserts, tundra, and riparian ecosystems. In grasslands and savannas, we have to highlight that grasslands and savannas are the most widespread biomes within rangelands. We should note that the mapping does not take into account the actual land use and other changes that have taken place. However, we think that this atlas is a good starting point to document and raise awareness on the characteristics of rangelands, including all the ecosystem services that they provide, such as livestock production, biodiversity conservation as well. In fact, 1/3 of biodiversity hotspots are in rangeland. And other ecosystem services include climate regulation, especially through carbon sequestration and storage by grasslands. So now, what is the atlas? So the atlas consists of a preliminary set of maps. There are 16 maps that cover different themes like protected areas, forest cover, climate change, or like the one you see on the slides, the number of threatened vertebrate found in rangelands. As I said, these maps are meant to start filling the gaps about rangelands and grasslands, values and risks, the ecosystem services, and the economic and social benefits that they generate for people and nature. And each page of the atlas, like this one, is presented with a short explanation of the map and the data. There are key figures as well that are generated from the big data, and there's a story from the field. And if I zoom in, for instance, on this map of threatened species, just to give you a figure, the map shows that 4% of rangelands have between 60 and 100 threatened species. This is a map of protected areas. I just want to show you this map of protected areas in rangelands. They cover about 9.5 million square kilometers. This is 12%. And it's actually below the global average of 50%, and which means that rangelands are underrepresented when in terms of protected areas. So there's an opportunity to increase the coverage of protected areas in rangelands. And the atlas could actually trigger further reflection about considering some of the large areas that are managed by pastoralists as areas that can effectively deliver and generate conservation outcomes, and deliver as well on international targets and commitments such as the land degradation neutrality, the 30 by 30 initiatives, and the 3 Rio conventions. And as we navigate through the atlas, we need to keep in mind that the maps are drawn from big data already available in the public domain and provide a big picture of the figures and trends and rangelands. However, we still think that this is a starting point for raising awareness for the urgent need to restore rangelands, and also for gathering more detailed information from the ground as we work with governments, with local communities, and other stakeholders as well. So this atlas is not final. It's an evolving document that we hope will improve as new information becomes available. And yeah, this atlas is an opportunity to integrate all the global and regional processes around the development of the atlas that will influence rangeland restoration. Again, like the International Year of Rangeland Pastoralists, the LDN, the UN Decade, etc. So now just a few highlights regarding the other maps. So the 50% I already mentioned. 50% of all land on Earth are rangelands. 78% of rangelands are in drylands, which reminds us of the importance to invest in drylands restoration. 84% of these rangelands support livestock production. 46% of all livestock production systems are in rangelands. And other important highlights of this atlas, it's the exceptional biodiversity value with the 12% of rangelands that are in protected areas. And finally, again, I would like to just recall and highlight the collaborating partnership in the production of this atlas. So these are all the partners that collaborated together to produce this atlas. And as we move forward with the development of a new version of the maps, we, of course, as the organization may join. There's a link to view all the maps, which is this one here, www.rangelandsdata.org. And so this is the end of my presentation. I would like to thank once again the Society for Range Management and also the stakeholders involved in the International Year of Rangeland and Pastoralists. And thank you all for your attention. Bye.